Well, it's Friday. Not only is it Friday, it's a tourist Friday.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it just kind of happened.
Are we in space again or no?
No. Half of me is in space. The other half is sport diving with my 70-meter sport diver 6119 6400.
Why don't we do wrist check?
Okay, we'll do wrist check and I'll confirm which model it is that I'm actually looking at on my wrist here. Okay, we are showing you are wearing your baby G.
Yes, my high school dream watch that I never got.
Why was it your high school dream
I
watch?
don't know, because it's pink and chunky and...
Did somebody else have one and wear one?
Yeah, but I didn't like it because of her. I liked it.
Oh. Okay. I'm double fisting it today. Well, what? I am double fisting it today. First, we got us your classic Omega Speedmaster. This is a 2007 that I bought used from, I believe, the original owner, and I serviced it myself. I serviced it. It's been 6 years. I probably need to service this one again, but it still is running beautifully. And on the other wrist, 6119, 6020, 70-meter sport diver, on the original bracelet. These are really cool. This is the blue dial. These are the second most, I don't want to say most common. They're the second one you see after the black dial. Black dial's the really super common one. There's blue. You also have, there's silver. Then there's a gold, like a Pogue gold. And then the rarest is the green. I have a green. I've owned gold, but man, they're hard to find. I've owned a silver. I wish I'd never sold it. It's all the same colors as the Pogues. But these are really cool. 70-meter diver resistance. They've got an internal rotating ring. They use the same exact, they use the same exact hands as the 6139 Pogue. They've got fully loomed baton markers. Again, a rotating ring, that thing spins. It's a Pogue-style case. It's hard to really notice, but if you look at it, you can see it. Just imagine it has a crown at 3 and then buttons at 2 and 4, and you can see it. So it's like a Pogue sport diver, and it uses many of the same colors. These, you want to talk about a watch model that needs more love, and there's a lot of them. These came with 4 different movements and are absolutely worth looking into and picking up. This is an early one with the big crown. This is from 1969. It's got the blister back, which I can't show you. Well, maybe I can. There we go. There you are. There you go. So that's early, February 1969. Would have been Seiko's first sport, basically one of their first sport diver models that they came out with. I mean, there were some that came out in 68, obviously, but these should be iconic, but aren't. I don't know why they're not iconic. They're a great size. They're 40 millimeters, very clean, simple case design, strong case design too. These early ones have this big crown with a cutout on the top spun surface, really elegant. Anodized red sweep seconds hand. In any case, that's what's on wrist number 2. Proof 6119, 6020. 6119, 6020. They're classics, and now they're a perfect size for now. It's been so long since I've worn one, I didn't really realize that. As I'm sure I will have already said in the wrist check segment.
Because we totally filmed that already.
Yeah, we totally, absolutely did. So it's Friday. It's a rainy Friday. Rainy Friday. You may hear thunder and lightning coming on out there, in which case you can put on Thunder and Lightning by ELO, because that's the song that always comes in my head whenever there's thunder and lightning, every single time. What's that again? Thunder and Lightning by ELO. It's off of the album, double fold album, Out of the Blue.
I always get Fleetwood Mac in my head. Is it Dreams? Thunder only happens when it's raining. And then it'd be like thundering and not raining, and I'd be like, you're wrong.
You're wrong. Well, she was wrong. Not everybody's going to be right all the time.
It's true.
It's true. Even though is still a superlative songwriter, fantastic lyricist. She doesn't get near enough credit for her lyrical ability. Folks, it's Friday. It's Friday. That means it's questions and answer times. You folks are sending your questions, and I appreciate that. And so we're gonna do our best to answer some.
I didn't really sleep last night, so I'm pretty tired.
Yeah, she's really dopey sleepy. We've been fighting with her bed, and it's just...
Our bed.
We've been fighting with our bed. Well, we have been fighting with our bed.
Well, I thought you said her bed.
Our bed. Turns out we bought a counterfeit. We didn't mean to.
Yeah, I read that was a thing that you British people have to deal with or something. It's not anything I'd ever heard of before. And I'm like, ooh, a mattress, okay.
Yeah.
And then we had to get new ones because it's a Tempur-Pedic, and it failed within 6 months, and it was awful. And the guys that dropped off our new ones were like, that's a counterfeit.
Yeah, and we were like, that explains why it failed in 6 months. So we have a new bed now that's supposedly going to be nicer. We hope that she's going to be able to sleep as a result.
That'd be cool.
I'd like to be able to sleep as well too. That would be fantastic. Okay, folks, it is Friday. We are going to answer questions right now.
Okay, for a mail call, Tomek Kowal 388. I found a Seiko 7548 7000 on your channel. I managed to buy it for $250. No one was interested in it for many days on the auction. I can't get enough of it. It's my favorite watch at the moment. I also have a Seiko 5, but this 44-year-old Seiko quartz is made like a full high-end diver. Thank you.
Well, it is a full high-end diver. They were the best of the best. The 754 series movements, it's one of these situations where Seiko did something where they designed a movement for the top, for the golden tuna, the 7549, 7010s, regular tunas, the 300 meters, and the 600 meter golden tuna as well. And so they made the movement as best as they could, high end, and then they propagated that. They continued to use that movement down the sort of the I don't know, the price point lines, all the way down to a Pulsar model that still uses the same thing. There are only minor differences. They are, so you have what's I would call almost a Grand Seiko level movement in that 7548, because that was sort of the level that those golden tunas were at, was the best of the best, the top that you could buy from Seiko. So it's not even like, it's, that thing is designed with every bit as much care as the 7549 tunas, period, in terms of its case, its build quality, its loom, finishing, everything. It's, I'm glad that you enjoy it and appreciate it, because it's not just a quartz. It's a watch for all time. I just did a wellness check on a Seiko 7549 7010 just this week actually, and I went through it and I did an accuracy adjustment on it, and I got it to within 2 to 600ths of a second per day accuracy. That's just stupidly accurate, because these watches come equipped with a variable trimmer, which is, if you're patient enough and have the right machinery to do the testing, you can drop it in and it will hold its time very well. You can dial it into high accuracy quartz territory if the watch is in good condition and it's been serviced, no problem. Anyway, hats off to you for wearing your 7548.
Bruce Barlow.
Hello, Mr. Barlow.
I've just watched that How to Wind a Seiko 10 times and I'm still shaking.
Oops.
Why?
I don't know.
What's the deal with this freaking video? I mean, I'm glad it brings in income, but what the hell?
Well, I wonder how much income that thing is actually brought in. Our videos, by the way, bring almost no money. We get like
we do it because we love you guys.
We do it because it's what we do, and we like talking to you and
talking to each other.
And talking to each other, and it's fun for us to be talking with each other. But I think we make like $130 a month total from all of our videos, from everything that we do, all the subscribers that we have, and all the the however many videos I've put up. It's more than 1,000, I think.
Well, the first one apparently gets us
gets us more than anything. Yeah, it's nuts. We get almost no money from anything, no matter how many videos I make. One time we got changed on the algorithm and we made like $700 in a month, and it was like, wow. Other than that, we get nothing whatsoever. Well, it's enough to buy groceries.
Yeah.
Some groceries for one trip.
Anyway, when you come down and do the white shark cage dive, just wear one of your cheaper watches. A good one would be the Pulsar Y514 diver, just in case you don't make it out in one piece. It would be a shame to lose a good 6105 8000.
Hey, now let's not dump on the good name of Pulsar. They are a beautiful and amazing Seiko sub brand, and they do some good work. I mean, the Y514 it's right on, it's the, I don't want to say the bottom level, but it's the lowest price point level of that movement family that starts at the 7549. If Shark ate, a wrist that had a Seiko Y514 on it with 150 meters dive resistance, in theory, you could get it down. People have tested 7548s to 300 meters. They've done it, and they passed. I'm talking like in the ocean. This was forever ago, but somebody did, and they got it down to, it wasn't 300 meters, but it was deep. It was right at the limit of saturation diving, and the watch came through fine. Now, great whites can dive really deep, so I'm sure at a certain point the Y514 would give up the ghost, but it would hang in there as best as it could until it became shark poop.
Monad Mercedes 8246. Seiko love doing mishmash models inspired by their past history with completely wrong proportions, and same time release very accurate reissues. Sometimes the mishmash models worked though. My prime good example is 1959 Alpinist 38mm, and prime example of completely wrong, the MM300.
I had read that comment. I wasn't sure where I put that in here. I haven't looked at that Alpinist. I guess I'll insert a picture of the Alpinist here. Okay, so I will have hopefully found and inserted a photograph of the 38mm Alpinist reissue. I did look at them. They look good. They're classic. They have the Dauphine hands, the Loom Dauphine hands. They are, they look pretty nice. The Marine Master 300, I own one and I'm a proponent of them. I will absolutely readily admit that they are more inspired by than an homage to the original Marine Master. The proportions are all slightly tweaked. Some things are, it's there, but it's like everything is slightly different. It's more like flavored like, but they're one of those weird models that in my mind really actually work. There's a lot of those reissues, sort of quasi reissues that Seiko put out that I don't care for. I can't really think of an example right at this exact moment. Oh, there was that weird model. It's like they used a 6139 Pogue case, but it wasn't a chronograph, it was a 3-hand, and they also made it an open heart, which means there was a hole over the balance from the front, so you could actually see the balance going back and forth. And it was just, nothing about it worked. And it didn't refer back to the original, it didn't have the same color scheme. It was confusing. It was an AI Pogue. Put together by something that didn't know what it was. The Marine Master, they looked at it, and they really looked at the 6159, and they took cues from the 6159, and then they made some choices about how they put it together. Like they made the case taller. They tried to beef the thing up to meet the standards of watch sizes in the aughts, because it came out in the year 2000 collection. Big watches were the thing. That was actually a selling point. Oh, it's a big watch, and people bought it because it was a big watch, and that was their thing. And so that was one of the points they sort of drove from, and it shows in the final design. Versus the Alpinist, they clearly wanted to get that true vintage flavor, and they managed to do that. But For me, the Marine Master stands on its own. There's a Marine Master, there's the Marine Master. It's one watch model. And then there's the 6159. It's another watch model. And that, you know, there's sort of one is flavored by the other, but they're so different that I don't even connect them in my minds.
Matt Morris 481. Hey, watch the Twist-A-Flex insults. I'm not an old man and I like them.
I love Twist-A-Flex. I mean, I just wish I could find one that was the right length. They're never the right length. They're always sized wrong for somebody else, and then resizing them is a pain because you've got to basically disassemble the links, and they're not meant to be disassembled. And then, I mean, they have to be a little tight because if they're not a little tight, then they flop all over the place. It's just, and I don't know. In the lug, I wish they had Twist-A-Flex that had fixed lug widths instead of always with the squishy things, because invariably one spring on one side will be stronger than one spring on the other, which means the bracelet will end up being non-centered in the bracelet links, because the actual fixed lug width is like 16 millimeters on those, and they have springer ends on either side to sort of keep them up. There's no easy way to resize them. That's my big complaint about them. I keep looking at them, I keep trying. I have a big bag of Twist-A-Flexes, and I've just never found a situation in which I can wear one that's the right size or looks right in the watch. I wish I could, though. I've always wanted to. Someday, maybe.
4CS Seiko 70098740 restoration. Ivan Mejia. I'm so tired. Sorry. Great video. Would the 7019A be a better movement than the 7009 due to the 4 extra jewels, or are they pretty much the same?
No, they're not just the same. They are, those 4 extra jewels, they're diafix settings. So it basically is 7019 and the 7025. The only difference between those two, by the way, is the size of the winding weight. That's it. They're basically, they're a 7S26 in all but name. The way that you gonna make it?
Never.
Are you passing out?
Always, but I'm getting through.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, all that aside, man, the 7000 series movements, as you've seen from this video, I mean, I can only take some credit for, you know, managing to, you know, clean the thing apparently correctly based on the numbers, but those 7000 series watches, they're just, you know, I'm a Suwa fanboy. Okay, I'm a Suwa fanboy. I'm wearing Suwa right now. When I wear Seiko, I tend to wear Suwa, but I can't ever speak against the Dyna 7000 series movements. They're just superlative. I mean, this most recent watch, as far as I can tell, it might have maybe been serviced or looked at one time. I'm not 100% sure. But that watch got the heck worn out of it. It was so, it had so much, it was so dirty, and it had so much signs of use. And it was a long worn, long loved, put a piece that was, you know, ridden hard and put away wet. And it showed, but at the same time, even before it got serviced, it was still hitting amplitudes in the 200s, low, 200. And then after service, it's running at numbers that are basically as it was when it was new. The 7000 series are they're just fantastic movements. Almost impossible to beat. What value for money? What incredible, crazy value for money. You can get a 7009 for almost nothing. Any of those early 7000 series, 7005, 7006, 7009, 7019, 7025. They at their heart, they're all the same. The extra jewels will help longevity because it'll hold the lubrication.
She's so sweet.
Sorry, we have a cat next to us.
She's busy going, Daddy, love me.
Love me, Daddy. It keeps the It keeps the lubrication clean and in place, which is obviously a good thing. But a regular 7000 series movement is no slouch at all, and they deserve more love.
Sidewalk Astronomy Netherlands. That is a very elegant bling-free watch. I wish they'd still sell those.
It was the 7009 that I did for this guy. Seiko makes a ton of watches like that. They never stopped. Like they made them from the 7009s right into the 7S26s, A, Bs, and Cs. And the range of Seiko's models these days is still bewilderingly gigantic. You can find stuff like that. I mean, I don't have an example for you right now, but if you looked up Seiko dress watches, and if you choose your hands like baton markers or something else like that, you should be able to find one that is basically brand new, if not brand new, extremely affordably, that won't look a whole lot different than that one right there. It's a design that Seiko has taken part in and used and produced for decades. And I'm sure you can find one, no problem whatsoever. Just do some digging, and I know you do like doing your digging.
Bruce Barlow.
Hello, Mr. Barlow.
That random Seiko guy wasn't mucking around that day when he regulated this watch.
Isn't that bananas? It's you never saw the numbers, right? Mm-hmm. This is the same watch. It was the guy's family watch. He'd had it forever. It was his. It had been with several people in his family. It had been worn and worn and worn and worn. I mean, the inside of the watch was as dirty as any watch I can remember seeing. It was astonishing. And it still ran about 200 for amplitude, right around there. And it had 0 beat error.
Wow.
And it was holding to pretty steady accuracy. It was gaining about 30 seconds a day. Mm-hmm. And it was astonishing. And then when I serviced it, you saw the numbers. You came in, you were like, wow, mm-hmm. Look at the numbers on that thing. And I hadn't even adjusted it yet. And it was losing, at that point, after service, but before adjustment, I think it was losing like 19 to 20 seconds a day with like 0.2, 0.3 beat error. Still entirely acceptable, and in fact, as good as the stuff that Seiko puts out now. That's as unadjusted as Seiko puts out brand new watches for retail right now. And this watch was able to do that just after a service without even adjustment.
Elder Pinto 254, just doing this one, the same Seiko 5. I am wearing it today. This was the first watch I got from my dad when I was 12 years old. I am 48 now.
No kidding, and you still have it? That's great. Mm-hmm. That's great. How are your numbers? I'd be curious. If you tell me your numbers, look at your time grapher and tell me how it's doing. I'd be curious to know.
Another video, fresh from Japan, a Seiko 7828 7040 overdue review.
Right, it's where I mashed the questions together. There were 2 videos about the 7828 7040 from Japan, and then I also did yesterday's overdue review about the 7828s generally. Mm-hmm. What the hell was that?
What?
It looked like a meteor. No, it's the oddest thing I've ever seen.
It wasn't a meteor, it was probably a bird.
Well, I don't think birds glow.
You never know. It could be a phoenix.
That was really weird. It was like a lightning strike, but it was going upwards. It was like a straight line going zip, just like this. Like, I wonder what the heck it was. I've never seen straight lightning before, but that's what it looked like.
Jean-Claude Beaver 6614. Love the 7A line. I'm dreaming that Seiko will bring them back. Seiko quartz pieces are too thick these days. The 7A line is super thin and wearable, and those designs just unreal. Currently hunting a 7828 7040 and came across your channel. Great content. Thank you.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. You can find them, 7828 7040s. Thankfully, well, not thankfully, their prices are going up, but thankfully they're not incredibly rare. You can still find them. It's not like where you're getting to the point that they're all locked up in people's collections. You can still get them. Seiko bringing them back, I can't imagine why Seiko would bring them back. They were, this is a story I've told a couple times, okay? So everybody, or many people might recognize the name Luger. Luger was a handgun company, Germany, 1900 or so. extremely high-end, all milled, extremely tight tolerances, beautifully made. It just legendary pistols. After World War II, except in Switzerland, they ceased being made. Well, there was this dude in the 70s in America, or this company rather, and they decided to start making them new again. And so they had to go and they bought machinery from the Swiss, who'd stopped making them, and they brought them here and they started producing Lugers again. But nobody bought them, and pretty soon the whole thing went belly up. And the reason being is that there were so many of the originals, and the reproductions were so costly to make that nobody bought them because of the price point, because you get an original for so much less. I can't imagine Seiko would bring them back, because you can just go online and you can find one. Granted, they're tough, but to find this or that specific model maybe, but I don't know. That's my only thought on that thing. I wish they would. It's just it's such a bulletproof movement. 15 joules on a quartz movement is just ridiculous overkill. Quartz movements don't need any joules. They really don't. And most of Seiko's quartz chronographs since the early 90s have been primarily plastic. Having an all metal movement with 15 joules is just ridiculous overkill, and a wild expense that Seiko would probably never go through. It would be cool if they did.
Watching Brief 7072. Hi Spencer, just wondering what price points you have been seeing. I'm finding between AUD 900 plus up to AUD 1400 plus. Not so affordable now that ship has sailed. The UK military issue ones in good condition are well in excess of 3K AUD. Answer from another poster. Archeo Beat. Hello, I just picked up a 7828-7040 of the Bay in Australia for 330 AUD.
That's not bad.
With original bracelet, will need a service and a 7828-7040, which looks in excellent condition for 350 from Vietnam, as well as a 7838-7080, which has arrived for 260 AUD, so deals still to be had.
Those numbers seem reasonable to me. You're going to have people that have a buy it now for a really high price, right? And people trying to, just maximize their money right from the get-go. High buy it now. I have found that $200, $300, you're still able to find stuff like that. The 7828-7040 that I got from Japan was just shy of $300 American. That's not bad. That's really not. I think the main thing is that there's fewer of them out there. And that's pretty soon, that's going to start having a serious impact on value. But they're still out there, and people still don't quite understand them. They don't value them as they should because they're quartz, and people don't understand that there's quartz and then there's quartz. It's one thing to have a 7N43 with with 1 joule versus a 3-register analog quartz chronograph with 15 joules. There's 2 different things going on there. But it takes sort of watch aficionados to really understand the difference. You can still get them. Don't give up. Keep looking.
RO63RTO. I think it's supposed to be Roberto with a 6.3 instead.
Oh yeah, I believe so. Yes.
I have a 7049 from December 82, and I will never part with it. I am in the UK, so sending it to the USA for an overhaul wasn't an option, so I sent it to a guy in Berlin. Once back, I sourced an OEM crystal and replaced the scratch one, but kept it just in case. Unfortunately, it didn't have the OEM bracelet, but I found an aftermarket one that is close enough for now. Also have a 7029 in mint condition.
Really? 7029. So is that the 7020? So wait, so you have a James Bond in 29. He's just a 7020, but 7029 just means North America. Do you have a James Bond? Is that what you got? That's pretty cool. Otherwise, I tell you, it's such a classic design. And the fact that they added a rotating ring, I'm sorry, talking about the 7040 now, that they had this, they used this speed timer layout, but then added a rotating ring, gives that the whole extra level of functionality. It's a fantastic design.
WKANOST. Spencer, I have a Seiko speed timer made in December 1982. I bought it when I was 19 years old, and now I'm 61. I've had the watch for 42 years. In 2022, I had it serviced, and it is still one of my favorite watches. The original band is long gone, but I have fun looking for new bands for it. I wear this watch every week in my rotation. Great video. I'm happy this watch and its variants are getting the love they deserve, from James Bond to Ripley and beyond.
Absolutely. They need more love. People don't, I often feel like I'm just, beating a drum that no one wants to hear anymore, because I assume everybody knows about them, that everybody's heard about them, and everybody thinks about them, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know that they really do. So I appreciate the fact that no one is yelling at me for once again saying, 7As, got to get those 7As. 7As, it's the way to go. They're just so much value for the money, so much crazy value for the money, and so much insider knowledge. When you have one of those things on your wrist, and you know what it is, and nobody around you knows what's on your wrist, they don't realize what a piece of horological history you're sporting. You could sit down and explain it to people, but if you ever run into anybody who knows, they're gonna know. And a real watch aficionado should know. So if they don't, educate them.
You should start talking up the 6106 or the 6119 or whatever.
Well, what? This is the 6119 right now.
We have bags and bags and bags of these watches.
We do, depending. I mean, I've been, I don't know, the last 3 years have been kind of weird for me. There's a lot of strange stuff been going on. So I've been not really deep into watches a whole lot. There's been all this extended family nonsense and all this other ridiculous garbage going on, and it's really taken the wind out of my sails. But it's sort of, those storms are passing. So I need to, I'm excited about this. I have a number of these. I haven't seen one on my own wrist in years, because I didn't have one that was ready to wear. I haven't restored any of them. I have a good number of these watches, and Seiko loved these watches. They made them in at least 4 different movement variants, if you can believe that. Is it 4? Let's see. They made them in 6106, 6319, 6309, 6106, 6119, 6309, 6139. I think 4 different movement variants for this one watch style. Seiko believed in it hardcore, and it's a poke style case. They made them for a good amount of time. They're a perfect size for now. They're elegant. They're a clean design. They use a 6139 handset. They're really elegant, all fully loomed baton markers in a rotating ring. There's nothing not to love about them. Nothing at all not to love about them. These are great watches. So I could talk about that.
Yes, you did.
I did. I can talk about it more.
I'm tired. I don't
You're
want to.
tired? Oh, that's right. You didn't sleep.
Let's build a brand new 7C46 Ashtray. This was a while ago.
I wish I had that watch still. People find them. People find old videos.
Brad Falk 5903. I still have this model, and I bought it new as a 21-year-old. I cracked the glass face working on my car, as you do, and sent it away for repair and proper pressure testing by Seiko in Sydney, Australia in about 1988. The glass was replaced, watch tested and certified, and I ordered a second glass face for a spare, which I still have. I plan on handing this watch down to my son one day, and he too will likely smash the face, so I'm gonna hold on to the spare. Exactly how rare are these crystal glass faces? It appears my younger self actually did at least one smart thing.
Yeah, no, the crystals for those are stupidly rare. They're super crazy, stupid, dumb rare. Very hard to find. I found two. I think I've owned two of those. I don't think I've owned three. I've owned two. But the first one I got had a really badly scratched crystal. I was able to find a crystal, God, but I had to source it through friends and old school collectors for somebody who had one. I've been asked if we would consider making those crystals, but honestly, the watches themselves are so rare. We get almost no call for them, as far as I know. If that information is incorrect, let me know. But we would have to produce like, we'd have to produce like 100 crystals in order to get an order of those crystals. I wish they were more available. I mean, the watches generally, it bums me out. They were a big, those watches were designed by the same team that that designed the 6105s and the 6309. They designed the Ashtray. It was supposed to be their, it was supposed to be their next, you know, piece de résistance. And they only made it, Seiko only made it for a few years, and then it got put away and forgotten. It's not the first Ashtray design though. The first Ashtray design is the H558 5010. I think it's the 5010. It's the Landmaster. It's the Arnie Landmaster basically, and that was the one, the first Ashtray design. Which, by the way, I have one, and it's gonna be for sale on the website. It's not up yet, but it will be.
I can't pronounce the name. Where'd it go? Oh no, I lost it. There it is. Moan and Mercedes 8246. Isn't there a laser machine that easily removes the rust? I think it is used on automotive business.
Okay, so this is on the video about the 7040, which was a watch from Japan, very low hours on wrist. But one of the things is somebody took it into the ocean and left it uncleaned with some salt in it, or it lived in a very wet and humid environment, which lots of Japan tends to be very humid in the summer. And so the water got in the tight places and stayed there and started the cycle of corrosion, which can happen with stainless steel. So the person's asking if there could be a laser method to clean the steel. Yes, lasers can clean steel, but it would also jack up the the very fine surface finishing that these got. Laser it takes off the entire top level of the metal, which you don't want to do, because especially with that frosted finish that Seiko did, it's just on the surface. And if you went laser, that's exactly what would happen. But good thinking. The way you get rid of it is, for me, it's physical removal by hand using pegwood, and then repeated chemical baths to not touch the surface, but only to act chemically on the rust itself. That's how I do it.
KVW presents a very Seiko catalog.
Wow.
Salty crabs. It's crazy comparing the 1972 Seiko catalog to the 1982, and how watches went from uniquely shaped and colorful to the more basically designed silver or gold jewelry store watches of the early 80s. I'd love to know what led to that shift in design. It always amazes me going through the ones from the 80s, and it's like they all look the same, more, not all of them, but like you get to the businessman watch section, and I'm like, it's the same freaking watch.
No, it's all the same stuff. Well, I don't know, everything was kind of generic then. I mean, think about when we were watching Price is Right we were watching reruns of the game show Price is Right.
I like watching old game shows.
So we're watching old game shows from like 1980, okay? And I'm looking at the stuff they're putting out, you know, all the sort of the gift packages they got, and the stuff they got on, and it's all generic garbage. It's genericized stuff that is, it's all this, like, you know, fake sort of continental or antique inspired furniture, and just, I don't know, it seems like a real fallow time for design in general, where everything was kind of boring and sort of taking from really boring inspiration sources. That's what I'm thinking. Whereas in the 70s, Seiko was creating the look. They were making a brand new look that had never existed before. They were doing it. They were leaders. And then they just cruised on what they'd done, and they didn't really get creative, you know. I don't know. How long was it? How long was that period? How long has it ended?
What
Of Seiko not doing really creative
Oh,
stuff.
I thought you meant of like the furniture and stuff from the 80s. I'm like, yeah.
I'm sitting there watching the person saying, "It's brand new secretary," and they're showing this piece of furniture, and you can tell the whole thing is wobbling because it's so poorly put together and made of such crappy wood. You can see it across the decades watching this absolute piece of garbage. It's basically like looking at thrift store furniture when it was still brand new.
Yeah, or like when
That's
they have
unremarkable.
when they have something absolutely ridiculous like your brand new jukebox.
Your brand new basement wet bar.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I going to do with this? Or car models that I've never heard of. Mm-hmm. Some of them were, I was like, a Ford what? Something I've never heard of. And the person is like trying to look happy about this little crap box car that they just won and will have to pay tax on.
Yes.
I don't know. I guess, I would have been excited if I was there.
CMB 1972. Hi, the 7A28 came to market in 1982 and the rest of the 7As in 83, 84. The earliest 7A28 I have is October 82. The Vulcan is a 7A38 model. The yellow Buttercup 7A28 you showed is probably my favorite in my collection of 7As. The most wearable 7A has to be the 7A38 6000. Look it up. It's a stunner.
I want to put in a picture of that because I did look it up and it is a stunner. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? A reverse Panda, white dial. No, wait, no, that's a regular Panda. White dial, black subdials. I get everything confused.
Oh.
Very neat. Yep, there it is right there.
Well, you already put a picture of it, so I don't need to show them.
Yeah, but still, that's really classy. I've never seen one. And I looked it up and there's like one and the person is asking like $3,000 for it or something.
Wow.
A lot of money, but that's not one that I ever remember seeing. I've seen, I know Dave Sorkin has one of the all black PVD 7A38s with the rotating ring. He got it new old stock from a jeweler's shop that had gone out of business years previously. He got it for $50. I've been trying to talk him out of it since he got it, and that was like 15 years ago.
Barrett W. Benton. Oh, damn it, Spencer. Only stumbling across this video close to a year after he posted it, and now I'm down another crazy rabbit hole, this time vintage Seiko catalogs. It's a good thing I already have the 6139 chronograph of my dreams. Although it's about to cost a decent sum to put it in what I consider perfect condition for everyday wear. Love listening to your musings as you browse. It's almost like flipping through a classic print catalog with a friend, drinks in hand, because why not?
Because, why not? It's fun. I'm glad people don't mind watching those videos when I'm looking through the catalogs, because I'm not, I don't put anything, I don't pre-plan any of these videos, so I have no idea what it is that I'm going to say. I only hope that, people, if they take the time to watch the video, feel that they've spent their time wisely. Because I don't even know if I've spent my time wisely. It's just fun to look at this stuff and talk about it.
Looking at old new watches, Seiko 4006 Bell-matic, Walther 9161. I have way too many watches and I keep gravitating to my Bell-matic. Just had it overhauled and it's a lot of fun to wear and use.
I keep not servicing a Bell-matic for myself. I have a couple beautiful Bell-matics and I keep not servicing one for myself because they're always more involved than I think they are. But when you have them and they are working, they are fun. And crazily, using the timer function was actually something I did quite a lot. It came in far more handy than you'd ever think. It really did. I used it to do stuff like, I just time regular stuff through the day. Like, oh, I have to remember 2 o'clock, I have to do bank. So I would go and I would adjust it and set it, and it worked. I haven't gotten struck with the lightning of inspiration.
SSK003 breakdown.
This is when those new watches, the orange, the Mekon, and the blue Batman came out. We got those, and I ripped down the blue one That's what this is.
Oh. Monad Mercedes 8246. Pallet fork lubrication would ruin timekeeping but increase durability and longevity as a beater. Is that what you mean?
Okay, well, I'm only gonna, I guess what I'll do is I'll say how I always approach lubricating a pallet fork. I lubricate the pallet fork stones themselves, just the stones. I never lubricate the tips of the pivots. So the pivots of a pallet fork are always going to be lubrication free. The lubrication is just on the stones to let those slide. The only time I will lubricate the pivots of a pallet fork is if we're getting banking, over banking, which is where the watch is running so hot that it's actually kicking the balance beyond 360 degrees. The only model that I ever see that happen with, really, are Bell-matics. Bell-matics are the only ones that'll push the balance hard enough that you run into that problem. So I hope that answers the question, because I'm not exactly sure what I said, but I am sure that's what I would have meant.
Seiko SRP775K1 follow-up video. Dusty Cups. I like that name.
Dusty Cups.
Dusty Cups. It sounds like it would be like a dog name or a cat name that you
No.
shorten into just Dusty. Or
It's a cowboy name.
it's a cowboy name.
Yeah, sure.
So the next time I play Red Dead, I should name my horse Dusty Cups instead of
Sure.
Waffle Iron. You just have to remind me.
Yeah, Dusty Cups.
Hi Spencer, I just bought one of these, the classic black SRPE39 with the 4R36. After running in for a few days, it has a beat error of
Ooh, she is tired.
2.6 milliseconds? Minute? Is that right? What's MS?
What is
2.6 MS.
multiple sclerosis?
I know, that's why I was confused.
I think it's probably milliseconds or
Oh,
something.
okay.
I don't honestly know the right answer.
The rate isn't too bad at -5 seconds per day.
That's not bad.
Is it worth opening up the watch to adjust the beat error?
It's up to you. If the accuracy is pretty decent, I mean, you could fiddle with it if you feel confident fooling around with the balance. It's not a terrible amount of beat error. It's about 25% of the way, off of 0.00. The main thing with the beat error is that you want to have as low beat error as possible, because it aids in maintaining isynchronism, which is that the watch then will have higher accuracy even on a lower power level. That's what that whole thing is really about. So it's up to you. If you plan on wearing it all the time, it's always going to be in full power, and that will not really be an issue. If you're wearing it one day and leaving it for one day, and wearing it for another day and leaving it for 2 days, you're going to start seeing a greater amount of time loss or gain depending on that, because of the beat error in theory. So it's up to you. Me personally, I have a hard time justifying opening a brand new watch. I think I always look at it and like, okay, well, what's the the investment and the return? Is it am I really going to get that much out of it doing it, opening a brand new watch just to adjust the beat error, and potentially jacking something up? But it's up to you. If you're familiar with it and the beat error really bothers you, then go for it, man.
Seiko 6139 7100 white helmet. Apex APEC. I'm looking how to adjust this watch slower or faster per day, but you don't show us how to do it.
I don't generally show how to, generally don't show adjusting the balance, mostly because I don't have any way to do it. I don't have a camera on my visor or any of that kind of stuff. There's no way for me to show you exactly what it is that I'm doing. But the bigger point is, unless the watch has been recently serviced or is running really, really well, because it has been running service, it has been serviced recently enough that it's still running that nicely, there's no point in adjusting the accuracy. Adjusting accuracy on an unserviced watch is, well, you're already shooting at a moving target when you're adjusting accuracy, because you're trying to adjust for your wrist, right? Well, if the watch is also running at low power because the movement needs to be serviced, adjusting the accuracy isn't really going to really do anything for you. You're going to have lower amplitude, and greatly increased asynchronism as a result, disasynchronism or something like that. It's not going to be as accurate, and you're going to have more of a moving target that you're shooting at to try to get, but it's not going to hold those numbers. So first step is always to get it serviced and get the amplitude up to where it's supposed to be, because then once you do that, you have a solid foundation for adjusting for accuracy. So it's always, priorities. First things first, make sure it's serviced properly and running with the correct amplitude, then adjust for the accuracy. That's how we do it. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And the rain is over.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, no rain. That's it. Well, folks, it's Friday afternoon. We're done. I'm going to clean off my watch bench and do some other stuff, and maybe I'll pull out a box of 70-meter sport divers and start really pushing them, because they're pretty cool. Mm-hmm. They're pretty cool. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I really do. Every time you people take the what do you mean, you people? Every time you all take the time to watch a video, I sincerely appreciate it. I read every single one of your comments without exception. So I will always be there. I always make a point of liking every single one, even if they're not particularly nice to me, and that happens sometimes. So everything's gonna be fine. Keep those questions coming. I really like answering your questions. So please think of something that you want to ask, no matter how silly you think that question may or may not be, and ask it, and I'll answer. Okay. Thank you much. Bye-bye.
Should I tell them my thumb story?
If you really...
I'm not going to show you. Oh, no, I have an injury. Well, we went to put Finny, my fat cat, into his carrier. Well, it's just a Band-Aid. And he got his back claw under my nail and launched off of my nail and ripped my nail in half.
Well, I don't think that's very cool. I don't think that's cool at all. All right, let's talk about my watch.